Welcome to the Run Your Day podcast, where our goal is to expand your focus and perspective on life. This is your daily dose of motivation, mindfulness, and so much more. And now, here to help you take your day back, your host, Dan Hafner.
What's up, everyone? Welcome into another episode of the Run Your Day podcast. As always, Dan Hafner joining you here. It is Tuesday, my friends, and you should know how I feel about Tuesdays at this point. But we are going to set that aside today. I got a great show lined up for you guys today. Today's topic is this: a galvanizing loss. As always, thank you all for joining. All right, so what we're going to talk about today is the concept of a galvanizing loss. And what I'm going to talk about is, strangely enough, the loss that my Kentucky Wildcats suffered in the NCAA tournament this weekend. Yeah, it's going to be rough. And for any of you that aren't really basketball fans, I urge you to just still pay attention to this, because there's a really good lesson and parable in here. So, this past weekend was the Sweet 16, if you didn't know, for the NCAA tournament. And although I don't really watch and pay attention to a whole lot of it anymore, I do pay attention when Kentucky's in it and doing well, because that is my team. So Kentucky played Houston on, I believe it was Friday night, and then they won, and then they ended up playing Auburn in the tournament to go to the Final Four. And the game before, Auburn was a number 4 seed, and they played the number 1 seed, North Carolina. And in that game, they had a player that was doing really, really well. Like, he was absolutely kicking ass. Like, he had 20-some points, was just absolutely dominating, the guy for Auburn, right? Towards the end of the game, you saw something happen to him, and he went down, and they showed the replay, and he had been, like, screaming in pain. And you could just see his knee just buckle. Like, it just absolutely buckled. It was kind of gross to watch. And he was like the heart and soul of their team, like one of their seniors, a great player, and just like went down. And at the time, the game was relatively close. Auburn was winning, but the rest of the game, Auburn went on to just absolutely crush North Carolina. They beat them by like almost 20 points, I think. It was like 17 points they won by. And it was amazing to watch, because then the next game when Kentucky played them, that guy actually he was wheeled out to the court on a wheelchair. And I don't remember what exactly had happened to him. I didn't really catch that part of it, but he was clearly done. Like, he's done for the year, knees messed up, very emotional, moment for him and stuff. But and then Auburn ended up winning and going to the Final Four, beating Kentucky, which was not expected, right? But the whole point of this story that I'm telling you was that it was incredible to watch how the loss of that player galvanized that Auburn team, right? Like, there's really a choice that a team faces, or even you and I face, when we're faced with such a heavy loss, whether it's a loss at work, a loss in, a relationship, a loss in whatever in our life, right? Like, we're faced with this decision of, do we just pack it in and quit? Like, that team could have just easily said, like, man, you know what? Our top scorer, he's down, he's hurt. We kind of suck now. We're probably going to lose, so let's just quit. Or they had the choice to say, this is going to make us stronger. We're going to win for him. We don't have to do it with him. Like, we can do this, for him, without him. We can make this happen no matter what. Right? And that's such a powerful thing, because, like, every day you and I, we're faced with these even like smaller scale things that happen, where maybe you get rejected, or you run into a roadblock or an obstacle or an objection or whatever it might be, and you're kind of faced with this mental hurdle of, like, the obstacle. And the obstacle is what it is. The setback is what it is, right? But it's what we make of it that determines what our ultimate outcome is. Is it an obstacle for you to overcome, or an obstacle that you're going to allow to beat you, right? Is it something that's going to galvanize you, like, and actually bring you together, bring your motivation, your inspiration, your fire together and get ready to go and go harder and actually come back and win? Or are you going to let it beat you? Are you just going to pack it in and be like, well, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be. Right? So this loss for this team really, it galvanized them and even pushed them on to the next game, and they were able to beat Kentucky, who was favored, I believe, in that game. Right? So it was an amazing parable that I saw, and I kind of wanted to share, even though I am a big Kentucky fan and they lost and I was pretty sad about it, but I've grown enough to realize and recognize like the true triumph of people in life, regardless of, whether they're for your team or they're, against you or whatever it is. Like, I love to see people struggle and succeed, because that's what makes a champion, right? A champion isn't somebody that just made it to the top because of zero obstacles. A true champion, just like you see in any Hollywood movie, right? A true champion that we love, that we adore, faced obstacles, had every reason to quit, had tons of opportunities to turn back and pack it in, but they didn't. They kept going. They kept pushing, and they became that champion. Like, look at Rocky, right? Classic example. So my question for you as a wrap up today's show is this: where in your life, either now or an opportunity, or an example that you can think of before that has happened to you before, where did you face such an obstacle? Like, something went wrong, something went sideways, something just blew up in your life, an obstacle, a roadblock, something that happened that forced you with this decision of, do I pack it in or do I keep going? And what did you do about it? Or what can you do about it if you're facing this right now, or you face it in the near future, right? How can you let it galvanize you? How can you rally around it inside of yourself to find the motivation, to find the gift inside of that, to find the silver lining that's going to allow you to push harder, come back better, and just be better at the next goal, the next thing you want to accomplish? So that is my challenge for you. That's my question for you today. Really hope you guys appreciated this one, even if you weren't, even if you're not a basketball fan. I really think this is the power of sports is really awesome. And man, it was tough to see Kentucky lose, but it was awesome to see a team really rally around somebody like that, and to let a loss like that galvanize them into being becoming a champion and going to the Final Four. So that's going to wrap up today's show. As always, thank you all for joining. Don't let a loss beat you. Losses can beat us all, but you can't let them keep beating you. Can't let it beat you twice. All right? Thank you all for joining, my friends. As always, check us out on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. I will talk to you guys here later. I'm still working on getting the website, in case you're wondering, and that should be up soon. As always, thank you all for joining. Dan Hafner signing off. Make it a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to the Run Your Day podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, feel free to share today's show with friends and family. Until next time, have a great day.